All right, we're ready to get started. Welcome, everyone. It is a pleasure to be here with UCMS students. Welcome, parents, teachers, students to this webinar. We're super excited because we have a lineup of really great speakers. And students, what I want to say to you is that I commend you for being on this event because you are taking interest in your passions. You're taking interest in what your future is going to look like. And you know how everybody asks you, what do you want to be when you grow up? Today, we're not going to ask you that. We're going to ask you, who do you want to be when you grow up? So as you listen to these speakers and listen to with their stories of how they got to where they are and the opportunities that there are in their fields, please ask yourself, who do you want to be when you grow up, not what you want to be when you grow up. I know that Steve Jobs summed it up best. He said, when you're choosing a career, find something which you have passion for. Because if you have passion for something, you're not going to give up on it, right? So who do you want to be when you grow up? I want to introduce you to our next speaker here, who's going to give the opening remarks. His name is Kevin Earp. He has served for CMS as Director of Safety, Environment, and Health and Risk Management for 2 decades now. So he has a wealth of experience, and he is a leader in developing and implementing safety programs and currently leads 176 schools in CMS, 147,000 students, and 19,000 employees. That's a big job, Kevin. Thank you for being here with us. And I am going to hand it over to you to speak to our wonderful students.
Thank you very much, Ms. Bailey, and thanks for the introduction. It kind of scared me there. I didn't know, I did know all that about how big we were, but sort of intimidating sometimes when you hear how big CMS is. Just to let you know, I started my career basically in sports management. I had an undergraduate degree in sport management. And then when I was in college, I had the opportunity to get a master's degree, and I got that in safety management. So I moved to Charlotte. I worked for CPCC for about 4 years, worked with Charlotte Knights a year before that. And then I came over to CMS, and it's a big operation. And so over the years, my title has kind of evolved. I'm now Director of Safety, Environmental Health, and Risk Management. So there's really, excuse me, 3 different disciplines in there. So just to give you a little background on each of those, there's careers in all 3 of those. Safety. So part of my job is to make sure the students are safe. So from the moment a little kid in elementary school walks to school, we make sure we have crossing guards out there. At the high school level, we have police officers who direct the traffic. And then of course our employees, we have, I think it's around 20,000 employees, from maintenance guys, bus drivers, cafeteria people, custodians. So there's a whole lot of programs we put in place to make sure they're safe. So another discipline in my career is environmental health. So that could be anything from indoor air quality. Sometimes people might have allergies. Something may bother them. They may see some dirt on the wall and think potentially it's mold or something like that. Most of the time it is not, but it is a concern. So we run out and we look at that stuff. We have chemistry labs, so there's a lot of stuff that goes on with chemical safety. And we try to help our health inspection scores get improved. We have great health inspection scores, but the media sometimes likes to overplay when we have a bad, or not a bad, but an A minus, so to speak. So we take that very seriously, and we work with our custodial staff and maintenance staff on being sure that our health scores are as high as they can be. And then I am a risk manager, and that is what I consider really the most accurate description of what I do on a daily basis, because there's risk in just about anything we do. That picture that you have right there of me, that's interesting. It looks like I'm safe right there, right? Well, that water behind me, is water safe? No, you can drown in water. If water gets boiling too hot, you can get burned. The oxygen out there, think about the oxygen in the air. If you have, can't remember what the exact, I think it's 19.5%, I believe, is what you need to breathe. If it goes below that, then your life's in danger. And Oxygen also fuels fires. So that's part of the risk stuff that we do over here at my department. The fire drills, the tornado drills, all those things we have you guys do, that's all for preparing for a disaster or an emergency. And so I consider myself a risk manager, not a first responder. All the speakers following me are what you would consider on the front lines and first responders. Very brave people, basically, that put their lives on the line sometimes to protect the public and of course, all of us. So that's really my definition of a first responder. So from what I'll do now is I'll introduce our first speaker, second speaker, I guess. It's Captain Drew Lazarus. I know Captain Lazarus through what's called the Emergency Operations Center here in Charlotte. When there's a incident in the city, the county, whether it's weather related, the pandemic, some other things, we all gather together, and all us emergency responders, safety people, risk managers, we all correspond in there. And that's where I met Captain Lazarus. I did not know until today Captain Lazarus is from New Hampshire. He has 2 BS degrees, one in fire science, another in arson, and he also has a background in criminal justice. So a very well-rounded individual. And he has 2 children who I hear him talk about in the EOC. So I know he's a good dad also. So I'll turn it over to Captain Lazarus.
Thanks, Kevin. I appreciate it. Thank you all for being here today. Excited to be here. I appreciate you guys taking the time to listen to each one of us talk about our careers and how we got to where we were and how we get to a point of that satisfaction and that drive on why we want to be here. Appreciate your interest in public safety, obviously, and basically at the end of all of this, we're hoping that you guys will walk away with the tools to be more informed, to help, with your decisions as you process through the many avenues and the many different careers that like, frankly, are in front of you. Each one of these speakers they're passionate about their jobs, they're passionate about their careers. They've taken time out of their busy schedules today to take this opportunity to speak with you. So, from me to you, to all of you speakers, thank you as well for being here. I would say that probably each one of them too, they have that drive. They've been driven to want to give back to their community, to feel like they've provided some sort of impact to, their community, to an individual, any citizen, and have an impactful life, impactful feeling internally. So as Kevin mentioned, I started my career in the fire service as a volunteer. My father was a volunteer firefighter in New Hampshire, as Kevin mentioned, and I saw how he interacted with the guys at the fire station there and the gals, and how much fun they had. But ultimately, he was surrounded by individuals that were like-minded. Yet they all had the same goal in mind. How to make the community better, and how to be called into a situation that's chaotic for an individual and mitigate that chaos, and come to a solution to help fix it. You can kind of I would say use the example of school. Each of you have friends. Each of you may or may not be involved in sports or different activities, but you're attracted to those different activities and those different friends because of that like-minded mentality. You all, have the same interests, you have the same goals. And that's kind of where, that was one of the big drives that encouraged me to be involved in the fire service. So I took it a step further. Like Kevin mentioned, I went on to college. Ironically, some may not understand this, but family members of mine didn't understand it as well. But there is, you can go to college to get a bachelor's degree in the fire service. So mine was geared more towards the administration side of things. How the fire department as a business operates and what it takes, what it entails. You know, having to deal with budgets and, you know, finance and safety and so on and so forth. There's so many different things that go into the fire service to make it operate. And that's where, you know, I wanted to better educate myself there. From there, I, you know, ultimately was hired with the city of Charlotte, and it's probably been one of the best career moves that I've ever made in my life. The training is top notch. You never stop learning. You know, each individual has on this fire department has that same common drive, that same mentality. They want to better themselves. They want to better their community. They want to be a master of their craft, meaning, you know, making sure that their skills are top notch so that that moment that someone dials 911 and needs the fire department, we're there where we respond professionally, quickly, efficiently, and we can manage and mitigate, you know, whatever issue that they have successfully. But in order to get there, you have to work, you know, I've had to work hard, you know, you have to be active in physical fitness, having a healthy diet, because ultimately you're competing against the best of the best to get into this position. And then ultimately it doesn't stop there either, you know, through promotion. You know, you get hired on the department, you go through our 26-week training academy, and then you have the opportunity throughout your career to make advancements. One of the advancements that I've been successful with is fire captain. Fire captain is the boss of the fire truck. So when you see a fire truck rolling down the streets of the city or whichever community that you live in, the guy that sits in the front right seat, that passenger seat up front, is designated the boss. So it's more training, it's more education, it's leadership. Within the fire service, there's a multitude of other activities, other jobs that you can be involved with. For instance, you could be assigned to the airport. The airport has 2 fire stations. That requires another level of training. It's aircraft fire rescue. You got to understand how airplanes operate, you know, where the fuel lines run, how many passengers, you know, looking at a plane. I could go to the airport and talk to one of the guys out there and say, hey, what plane is that? And they'll know exactly, like, it's a A380 or whatever. They know it, but they know where all the intricacies are for that aircraft, because it's important. Because if a fire was to break out or an emergency was to happen on that aircraft, they need to know where they need to go, what they need to do, how to get people off effectively and safely. We have hazardous materials, hazmat teams, chemical fires, chemical spills. You know, we have specially trained folks for that to handle those types of incidents. We have rescue teams. Our heavy rescues in the city, they do high angle rescue, confined space, below grade rescue. They do water rescue, urban search and rescue. So collapses. You'll see on the news hurricanes and earthquakes that take place. The firefighters and first responders that are first on the ground there are our USAR teams. Again, another higher level of training. Here in the state of North Carolina, I'm fortunate enough to be on most of those teams, as well as one that's probably the best job that I have on this fire department. And that's one of the best jobs that I have on the fire department. And that's our North Carolina helicopter rescue team. So we've got about 24 to 26 members of the Charlotte Fire Department that work with the National Guard and mountain rescues, hurricanes, swiftwater rescues that need to take place that generally our mountain teams or our swiftwater teams can't get to those individuals. We'll fly in on a Black Hawk helicopter, hang from the helicopter, swoop in and help grab those survivors and get them to a better place. It's a really cool job. And then finally, you know, one of the reasons, and this is how, you know, I was fortunate enough to have Rosanna reach out, but emergency management. So emergency management for the city of Charlotte, Mecklenburg County, is operated by the Charlotte Fire Department. So it's the Charlotte-Mecklenburg Emergency Management. And basically, as another function of the fire department, a lot of the requirements that are necessary is to understand how the city works. Who does what? I know the fire service, but before I was put in this position that I'm currently operating in, like I didn't understand. I mean, I knew how the city worked, but it was really trying to understand, what resources do people need? What resources do people have? What do I do with all that information? And what do you do with it? So as what was mentioned, I'm the liaison officer for emergency management. So it's my job to make those connections, to educate certain groups or partnerships that we have within the city and let them know the big picture. The pandemic is probably hopefully the only example, best example that we could ever use for how emergency management has functioned within the city and how emergency management should function, period. But ultimately, with that, within this pandemic, one of the major things that we learned is how many people this was going to impact. And you all see the numbers. You know that there's millions of people that have been infected. There's millions of people that have died. I'm sure many of you, if not most of us in this group today, have met somebody or know somebody personally that's been affected by COVID. But one of the biggest shining stars and probably one of the proudest moments that I had thus far during this is being with our volunteer organizations and making that connection and helping them reach the millions of this community. So our VOAG group, they raised nearly $20 million through this pandemic to help local nonprofits, to help the food banks, the food pantries, the women's shelters, the men's shelters, our homeless. They helped in conjunction with CMS. They helped distribute over 4 million meals to children and our community, so that they were able, that meals were still going to be able to be provided for those that were less than fortunate and may not have the means and depended on the school system to receive their meals daily. It was an extremely important endeavor, and they knocked it out of the water. They helped gather supplies for PPE, or your personal protection equipment, not only to help with with public safety, but to help with our community members that may not have had the opportunity to get some. Ultimately, what it boiled down to is that through the volunteer organizations and their volunteering efforts, they've saved the city and the county thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars in just volunteer hours. But anyway, I know I can get long-winded, however, but before I move on to our next speaker, I wanted to leave you with this one quick African proverb. It says, "It takes a village to raise a child," meaning it takes an entire community of people with a drive to interact with our children, for those children to experience and grow in a safe and healthy environment. So if you don't choose public safety, and I hope you do, because I love it, and so do the rest of these speakers, really what that proverb means to me is be a contributing member to society. It's not public safety that runs the show. There's no singular person on this earth that runs the show. It takes every single person in this community to make it a better place. So think and ask yourself, how can I leave this place better than what it was before I got here? Strive for that, achieve it. We all know you can, and we all have your back. So with that being said, it's now my pleasure to introduce from the FBI Special Agent Baldner.
Good afternoon, everyone. Captain Lazarus, thank you very much. I can tell you from the FBI's perspective, my personal interaction and collaboration with Charlotte Fire at both the hazmat level as a weapons of mass destruction coordinator and in my leading effort for the FBI and the Republican National Convention. You can find no more dedicated public servants than those in the fire service. These are true heroes in our city and in our community. So ladies and gentlemen, if this is a career that you're thinking about, I would highly encourage you to pursue the fire service. It's an excellent opportunity for you. So I am going to share my screen. Give me just a moment. Okay. So again, good afternoon. It is my true pleasure to have the opportunity to speak with each of you today. I want to thank you for participating, but I want to take this opportunity in the next 10 minutes to share with you some local opportunities that we have in regards to students within the FBI. Again, my name is Gerd Baldner. I've been an FBI agent for the past 22 years. And in that time, have worked counterintelligence, where I'm chasing, catching, and recruiting spies. I have worked in our weapons of mass destruction program, where we're looking to prevent chemical, biological, radiological, and nuclear threats. In my current job, I am the special agent applicant coordinator. So my job there is to recruit and assist new applicants who are seeking to become special agents in the FBI. So what we have for you today are opportunities for students, primarily at the college level. I know we're speaking with high school students. So these are opportunities that are on your horizon, that are going to be coming your way as you graduate high school and move on into college. So here's what we're going to cover today. First, I'm going to give you kind of a brief glimpse of what the FBI does overall. And then we're going to dig a little bit deeper into those opportunities that we have for college students and recent college grads. So what does the FBI actually do? Our purpose is twofold. One is to protect the American people, and two, to uphold the Constitution of the United States. Now, by American people, we're talking about the communities. This is your family. These are your neighbors, businesses, institutions, such as CMS, such as UNCC, all of those different types of businesses across our city and across the nation. Physical and electronic infrastructures, and of course, our democracy that we celebrate and cherish in the United States. Now, what is it that the FBI is protecting you from? Terrorism, spies. We mentioned spies briefly. Incredibly sophisticated cyber threats, and major crimes like murder, kidnapping, and fraud. Now, how does the FBI do this? It's a massive mission, upholding the Constitution and protecting our country. But we have a secret formula, so to speak. We hire people who are really good at what they do from all disciplines. These are people who love a good challenge, they thrive under pressure, and they never back down from a threat. People in all types of jobs and backgrounds who have never considered working for the FBI come to us for their career, and this too could be you. Now, although the FBI is headquartered in Washington, D.C., where you see the little star there, we're located throughout the country with 56 field offices in major U.S. cities. And there are over 350 satellite offices in cities and towns across the nation. In addition, we have more than 60 international offices called legal attachés or legats, and these are located in U.S. embassies in major capitals around the world. And at last count, we had just over 36,000 employees, both men and women, all working to achieve those goals of keeping the United States in a safe space. Now, the FBI is certainly dedicated to diversity. It's not a buzzword that we throw around because it sounds good. Throughout every facet of our organization, we place immense value on the experiences and perspectives of all individuals. We want applications from all qualified men and women from all ethnic and racial backgrounds. What matters is what's inside of you. That's what we're looking at. That's what we're evaluating. What's inside of you. And if you're fueled by confidence, by teamwork, an unwavering commitment to finding the truth, then I invite you to explore opportunities at the FBI, both as a student and as a future employee. And we really hope that you will. So let's take a little closer look at the FBI opportunities specifically for you, future college students and future college graduates. So as a college student, or even as a high school student now, you may not think of the FBI as the next step in starting your career. But if you have leadership skills, a dig deeper, a go-getter attitude, here are a few reasons why I think you should consider the Bureau. You'll gain valuable, one-of-a-kind of experience working alongside FBI professionals. Captain Lazarus mentioned the fire department being the best of the best. The FBI has the same mentality about our employees. We consider ourselves to be the best of the best. The more that you invest in your career now, taking advantage of these student opportunities, the more it will pay off for you in the future. And as the premier law enforcement and intelligence agency, the FBI can help pave your way to success wherever your career takes you. So an FBI internship on your resume can really pay dividends as you're looking for your first job, either in the FBI or out in another organization. So we're going to take a look at two opportunities that we have for you. First is the FBI Honors Internship program. This program is designed for college undergraduates and graduate students, and it is a 10-week paid internship that happens every summer from June through August. You'll work side by side with FBI employees at our Washington, D.C. headquarters, as well as in our 56 field offices. So you can either choose to go to Washington, or you can choose to be in a city like Charlotte, working in a field office. The other opportunity is called the College Hiring Initiative. This program is open to graduating seniors or individuals who have received an undergraduate, a graduate, or a PhD degree within the last 2 years. These opportunities are for full-time entry-level positions into the FBI. And again, these positions exist both at the headquarters level and in the field offices. So the Honors Internship program, let's focus on that a little bit more. This really is a cool experience. I've had the opportunity to work with many interns on different squads that I've worked over the course of my career. Again, you get to work side by side with FBI employees in a variety of educational disciplines. Now, some of these disciplines are things that you might naturally think will fit with the FBI, like STEM careers, IT, and law. But believe it or not, the FBI is also interested in and invites you to apply if you major in business, finance, journalism, visual arts, or any of these fields that you see listed on the screen. Now, the skills that you need, again, no matter what your major, are important. And we're looking for people, as you see here, with strong analytical thinking skills, people who are flexible and adaptable. You should be someone that takes initiative. You have to work well with others. You have to have good judgment, and you need outstanding oral and written communication skills. If this sounds like you, then we want you to apply. Now, applicants to the Honors Internship do need to comply with a few vital requirements. So if this is something as you're getting into college that you're interested in, you do have to be a US citizen, and you have to attend a college or university full-time as an undergraduate, so a sophomore, a junior, or a senior, or as a graduate or postdoctoral student. You have to have, at the time of application, throughout the hiring process and throughout the internship, you have to have and maintain a GPA of 3.0. And then finally, you have to be able to pass employment background investigation that the FBI conducts in order to receive a top secret security clearance. All of our interns have the same clearance that employees do. So the College Hiring Initiative. As you recall, this initiative is designed for graduating college seniors and recent graduates. As you can see, there's a pretty big spectrum of career paths, from special agents to finance to art to communications. So what does the FBI need most right now? Foreign language fluency tends to hover at the top at all times. And these are languages from every country, whether it's Chinese, whether it's Arabic, whether it's Spanish, French. It doesn't matter. If you have foreign language fluency, you are going to be a great candidate for the FBI. This is followed closely by military intelligence and international studies. And because our investigations are increasingly complex and require superior analytical abilities, applicants with technical backgrounds in engineering, information technology, and physical sciences are also in high demand. So just like the Honors Intern program, we have a few requirements for the college hiring initiative. Again, you must be a US citizen. You have to have attended college or university as an undergraduate or a graduate student and have graduated within the past 24 months. And again, have that 3.0 GPA. And finally, have the ability to pass the FBI's employment background check to be eligible for that top secret clearance. So these entry-level positions that we have as a recent college hire can lead to the special agent position. As I said, the special agent position is what I am responsible for recruiting. And I can tell you the average age of a new special agent is about 30 years old. So we are looking for people with maturity and experience in the workforce, whether that comes from the FBI or whether that comes in other agencies, other government agencies, or the private sector. And finally, I'll leave you with these. These are just some of the disqualifiers. So these are things as you are making decisions in high school, as you are making decisions in college, please keep these things in mind to be eligible for employment with the FBI as well as other law enforcement agencies. Again, you have to be a US citizen. You cannot have a conviction of a felony. You cannot be in violation of our drug policy. You can't have defaulted on student loans. And you can't have knowingly or willfully engaged in the overthrow of the US government or the attempt of overthrow of the US government by force. You have to be current on your bills. You have to have good credit. If you are a male, you need to make sure you're registered with Selective Service. So just keep these things in mind to make good choices for yourself as you move forward into college. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Special Agent Baldner, and thank you, Captain Drew Lazarus and Kevin Earp, and thank you for your service. I love what Drew said. He said, find a way to serve, right? It takes a village to raise a child. So even if you don't go into service, find a way to serve your country in one way, shape, or form. We're truly blessed to have you here with us and sharing your knowledge and expertise with all these students. But now it is my absolute pleasure to introduce our sponsor for this event, because without them, we couldn't have this event. And it's a special and important event to have. Kathleen Evans is the Regional Director for AT&T and External Affairs Department. And Firstnet, built by AT&T, has brought us this event. So Kathleen, thank you so much for bringing us this event. And I'm going to hand it over to you. Thank you for being here. And saying some words to our students.
You're welcome, Greece. And it's truly my pleasure to be with you today. And I want to wish everyone a good afternoon and happy Friday. I'm excited to be here with you, and thank you to my partners, not only the Latin American Chamber of Commerce and also the Charlotte-Mecklenburg School System for facilitating today's call. So my biggest welcome to our CMS students and teachers who are here with us today. And I need to also acknowledge AT&T customers and community partners who are here with me and are participating on this call. And in order of presenting the FBI, Charlotte Fire, Charlotte Mech Police Department, the American Red Cross, and Medic. It's my honor and privilege to be with these first responders and public safety agencies. You may not see AT&T when you look at these agencies, but we are there in the background, keeping these heroes connected. If there's one thing I want you to take away from our time together on this call, is an understanding of Firstnet. Like Greece mentioned, Firstnet. To define it, it means Firstnet is the first high-speed, nationwide, wireless broadband network dedicated to public safety. That's a lot of words there, so let me walk you through this. So if you were listening to me earlier, you may have noticed that I used the word partner a couple times. That's by design. That same description holds true describing Firstnet, which is a partnership between the United States federal government and the government's chosen vendor, my company, AT&T. So the history is the federal government created a new wireless network, in response to the public safety industry's request for a dedicated broadband network for its use in responding to disasters and public safety events. So what's a cellular network? So the best way for me to explain that to you is to show you the parts, some of the parts that I can hold in a cellular network. The cell phone, we all know what that is. But did you know that each cell phone has a chip in it that slides into the cell phone? And what that chip, little computer chip, is it homes this cell phone to a network. And the parts of what you can see in a network are antennas. You can see cell towers. You can see antennas hanging off buildings sometimes. You can see sometimes these little straight poles that are going up in neighborhoods right now that are carrying like 4G and 5G antennas. So that's what we call the infrastructure to make these cell phones work. So public safety in particular this public safety, Firstnet, the public safety network, is available only to first responders, public safety workers, to use a phone with a FirstNet card in it. So when a first responder registers for a device and they're properly certified to be on this network, they get this chip, and subsequently their phone, a Firstnet enabled phone, homes to the Firstnet network, which includes a slice of spectrum, which is basically a slice of communications network specifically for those users, which means, in the bottom line, and all that physics work and engineering work, is these public safety workers have access to a network that's always on, 24/7, dedicated. You don't drop calls and you don't get busy signals. So they are the first persons to be able to communicate in order to coordinate a response to a natural disaster or public safety event. Bottom line, this is a new network, about 3 years old now, specifically for some of the people that you are hearing on this call today. So just to recap, Firstnet is a high-speed, nationwide, wireless broadband data, think internet, think apps, dedicated to public safety. And I am grateful to be here to teach you about it today. And let's continue our remarks from our public safety professionals. So next up is Kenya Restrepo with the Charlotte-Mecklenburg Police Department. Kenya.
Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for the invitation. We're super excited to be here. Jimenez is with me as well. And we have a quick presentation. I'll just kind of open up a little bit about myself. I'm one of the police officers for Hickory Grove Division. I'm one of the community coordinators. So pretty much we go out around and pretty much host events, share information with the community. Jimenez and I are actually now tasked to run a little radio show as well. And we're developing the Spanish Facebook, so we're super excited about that. Jimenez?
Yes, I'm very happy to be here to have this opportunity to speak to you about what is it that we do as not only as a police department, but Officer Restrepo and I with our in our commitment to work with our community. And this is one of those commitments that we have by sharing information with the community. I think that's very important, and that's why we're happy and excited to participate on this.
So we have a quick presentation that we're going to share, and let me just pull up my PowerPoint presentation. We'll make it kind of quick. It's a lot of information. I did think it was very important to have this to everybody, just since I think there's a lot of information that I wish I knew when I started the department. So we'll kind of breeze through it. So if whoever of the youth are out there and they're listening to us, if you're interested in joining, we have a lot of programs. It actually starts with the middle and high school academy.
Yes, with these middle and high school academies, these are an excellent tool that we have to work with the youth in our different community areas, so they can come on and get a taste of what it is law enforcement work. To be a police officer, we have these academies. I think they're held twice a year, where they can come in, and some of the topics that we cover on these academies with the youth is we do some team building, crime scene investigations, criminal investigations, defensive tactics, also traffic stops. We do building searches, physical fitness, suspect encounters, demonstrations from different units and state responsibilities like SWAT, K9, and so forth. And so it's kind of to show these juveniles that what kind of give them a little taste of what we do. A lot of that is very interesting topics, and we get very good feedback from them. They enjoy it a lot.
So some of the qualifications that we'll need for the middle school, they have to be at least 10 years old. They have to have completed the 5th grade. For the high school, they have to be at least 14 and completed the 8th grade. One thing that I will remark in all this information that we're sharing for the youth that's actually watching us, just make sure that these are the decisions that are going to impact your life. So anything you do, you make sure that you keep good grades. You have to have good grades. You can be suspended from school for a whole year to be able to participate in this. You have to have, of course, a permission from your parents. You have to have a letter from the administration or your SRO, which is your school resource officer, to be able to participate. Of course, you have to apply for when the forms are online, you just have to apply for it. And you have to be willing to participate academically and in physical fitness as well.
Yes, another good program that we have, it's the CMPD Explorers program. That is a very good program that we have with also youth, and these is a little different, but in general it's kind of the same, just for different types of different age groups. The Police Explorers program introduces students to the world of law enforcement at the local, state, and national levels. Explorers are trained in several aspects of police work, have the opportunity to compete with other posts in the state or the region or in national conferences as well. We also offer students the opportunity to participate in ride-along programs. That's one of our most favorite programs, most popular programs, where allows the explorers to ride along in the patrol cars with experienced officers on the job. These we held 2 of these academies every year, and the North Carolina Association of Law Enforcement Explorers as opportunities to explore, to experience kind of an abbreviated version of what it would be to be in an actual police academy. They find very interesting, and they do great on these activities.
So for the explorers, they have to be 14 to 20 years old to enter the program. They can be older than 18. They can't have any criminal history or serious criminal history, and maintain a 2.0 GPA in school. The same, they have to get the letter from their SRO, permission from their parents, They have to attend 3 meetings before they actually are granted the membership and complete the application that is as well online. Now, we do have a drone program. This is something new, but it's super interesting for any of the juveniles that are into technology, very interested about drones. It's something that's really new for all of us. So it's very exciting that we have something like that, and especially for our youth as well.
Yes, especially with all the technology right now and how these the juveniles are into technology a lot. So this is something that caught their attention a lot. Another one of our programs is called the Cadet Program with CMPD. Now, this program has a vision, a purpose, and that is to intend to enhance the participating students' knowledge of the Charlotte-Mecklenburg Police Department and all aspects, so that when the participant turns 21, he or she may enter into a career as a Charlotte-Mecklenburg Police Department. As cadets, they work in different areas of the department. They will develop the necessary skills to make them the type of officer that CMPD needs to successfully and complete and work on the mission that we have as a department. This is a program that has some requisites. It's usually a program where the students are on a college age. It says that some of the standard minimum qualifications: you must be a U.S. citizen, be enrolled in a criminal justice criminology program or related field. Students enrolled in other majors must be pre-approved. So it doesn't mean that you're disqualified if not following it into this type of studies, but you just gotta be approved for that. Be at least 17 years old to 22 years of age. Be high school graduate, or have earned a GED degree. Also, live within 45 miles of radius of the CMPD headquarters in Charlotte. Be able to commit up to 20 hours per week, because it's kind of a part-time job. That's what they do. They get paid. Have a valid driver's license, of course. Also, current college or university student. You have to be a current student and taking a minimum of 12 semesters hours and maintaining a minimum of 2.0 average per grading period. Also, not committed any or been convicted of any felonies or any serious misdemeanors. Passed an extensive background investigation, including polygraph examinations, medical examinations, and drug testing. Certain past drug use results in disqualifications, marijuana usage in the last 12 months, or usage of any scheduled drug and other drugs in the past 10 years. The important thing here is that it's not if you know that we understand that people make mistakes, and as long as you forward and truthful with the recruiters in the process, they can always work with you depending on different specific situations. Some of the benefits they will get is they'll get paid. It says here $10 an hour. We know for a fact that that got raised this last year, so it's more than that. Flexible schedule, may be eligible for tuition reimbursement. That's a big one, pending pre-approval by the program director based on City of Charlotte policy. So basically, they will pay for your college as long as you continue with your law enforcement career after college. The program may be used towards internship credit as well. Cadets may apply to become CMPD officers when they graduate or turn 21 years old.
And yeah, like Claudia was saying, this is one of it's more for college students, of course. It's a great resource for all the youth that are watching this, or if you know anybody that might be interested on joining the department or learning more about it, please share this. That's why we put all this information on our slides, to make sure that if somebody's not watching, you can relay this information. The cadet program, if I was, going back to college and trying to start a job, getting into the field as well, and getting actually paid for my job, as well as getting reimbursed for my school, this is an outstanding program. So if you know anybody, please let them know. For more information, how to apply the forms, you can visit our website, which is cmpd.org, and you will be able to see where it says join the department. And if anybody that you know is at least 21 years old and it's thinking about applying to our police academy, we put all the information, pretty much is basic, the same requirements. So when we talk about, you know, making the right decisions when you're young, sometimes we don't think about this, but anything you do has a consequence. So make sure that you stay in the right path. You make sure that you work really hard. There's so many programs out there for you to be successful. We're here. We'll be able to have our information below. So if you have any question, please reach out. Police department, they start at 45. So if you have your degree, it's 5% for the associates, 5% additional for bachelor. So you can earn even 10% more than that. If you speak a second language, it's a 5% additional. Like Claudio and I, we both speak Spanish, and we get paid at 5% additional for our language. And we have a lot of benefits. You get paid to train. So pretty much when you get to the academy, it's the 26 weeks or so, it's all paid. So you're not, you know, you're not working and getting your VLAT by just going and you're getting paid. So there's a lot. You get contributed to 401k, retirement, you have insurance, life insurance. We get paid weekly. All of the uniforms are paid. So it's a lot of information. Again, we encourage everybody who's watching this, and if you speak Spanish, please follow us on our Facebook at Charlotte, El Departamento de Policía, Charlotte-Mecklenburg. And maybe something else.
We're, like we said before, all these opportunities that we have, just like other agencies offer their services and their opportunities, you gotta have the special type of personality. You gotta be the type of person that likes to help other people. Like in any of the other presentations that we have heard, the common denominator is you gotta be the type of person that likes to help either your community, help other people in need, and by getting and being educated on these different careers, you can do that. You can actually make a real difference on people's lives. We are very excited for this opportunity that we had to share this information with you. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And we'll pass it back to Debbie. Thank you, Debbie. And everybody that we got invited, Grace, thank you so much for the opportunity.
Thank you so much for being here with us today, officers, and for sharing that important information to our students. We did want to take a brief break from the presentations to bring you a raffle. Thank you so much to CMPD for gifting us 3 raffle prizes. So let me go ahead and pull up our Wheel of Fortune. As you guys can see, the CMPD gifts are going to be a little bit of a gift bag. They have some things like a mug, a to-go cup, a phone charger, other goodies in there. So if you win, we've gone ahead and put your names in this Wheel of Fortune. I'm gonna spin it 3 times. So we're gonna get 3 different names. And if you win, please make sure that you pay attention to the chat. I believe Dr. Rosana Sanadin is going to be reaching out to you so we can get your name and school. So we will ship your gifts there. So let's get started. See who the first winner will be. I'm sorry if I mispronounced your name, but Irag Witherspoon. Congratulations. And let me just write down your name. All right, let's spin again. Let's see who our second winner is today. Congrats, Areli Mejia. And one more time. Let's see. Ooh, is it Sadel Daniels? Congratulations. Please make sure that you pay attention to the chat so that we can get your information and get your prizes over to you and your school. All right, we're gonna move on to our next speaker. Let me go ahead and bring this up, which will be Mariana Bimbella from the American Red Cross. She is the Regional Events Specialist, and we are so excited for her to share her passion and commitment to service, as well as other opportunities that the American Red Cross has to offer. Let me go ahead and bring up your presentation as well.
Thank you, Debbie. And thank you, everyone. I'm truly delighted to be here with all of you this afternoon. And I've got to say, after listening to all of the panelists right now, I am super motivated and want to see how we can even partner with other opportunities and better serve our community. So thank you, everyone, for joining us today and for sharing all this fantastic information. As Debbie pointed out, I am the regional event specialist. I'm part of the fund development team for our Greater Carolinas region. And I also help out in other activities, which are more community related, which are specifically two. One of them is called the Latino Engagement Initiative, which is fairly new. And the other one is a Latino Resource Group. And all of these have to do, their main goal is pretty much helping the Latin community, the Latin American community, either be aware more of our services, build a trusting relationship with the Red Cross, and look for us as a community partner when there is when they are in despair or need help. And on that slide, the first one, you see our mission. And there are a few words there that I want to highlight, and it's prevent and alleviate human suffering when there are emergencies, whether it's helping communities prepare, respond, or recover from a disaster. And a disaster may be something from a hurricane, a tornado, it's tornado season now, or it can even be a home fire, which is something that affects families on a day-to-day basis. We are out there helping everyone, and this mission is the core of what we do. And we are also able to fulfill our mission thank you to the generosity of our donors and also the outstanding support of our volunteers. And our volunteers range from people that have different types of experiences in their background, and also those who want to build experience and develop certain skills. So the point of my slides today is to actually share with you so you can become a bit more familiar of what we do, our different departments. If we can move on to the next slide, the different departments that we have, and the opportunities within each of these to serve our community. And we are currently seeking volunteers, and specifically those even better if they're bilingual, if they speak Spanish. So this here shows you our 5 main lines of services, or if you want to call them departments. The first one that you see there is our preparedness and health and safety services. So pretty much within this department or this line of service, what we do is train the community in areas like first aid, CPR. We even offer babysitting training sessions where youth can get certified. The next department is our biomed or blood services. This one is extremely important. The Red Cross supplies 40% of the nation's life-saving blood to patients that need it on a daily basis. Every 2 seconds, someone needs blood. Then we move on to our next department or line of service, which is disaster services. And here, this is where you probably see us most because they cover this on the news, and Red Crossers are always there, willing and able and the first to respond. So what we do is we prepare the community. We help them what to do if they're confronted with a disaster, and also important, how to recover from a disaster. Our 4th line of service is a service to the armed forces. And here, the work that we do is also fundamental because we provide support to military families, veterans, current military people that are serving, and we help them either cope with what the experience is as a military service member or the family, and how to respond also if there are emergencies or if they need to connect with their family for whatever reason. And our 5th line of service is international services. And here what we do is we help communities where they are devastated by disasters. Currently, the Red Cross serves in 10 different countries through international services. So all of these departments are key to what we do. And the interesting thing about this is that 90% of our workforce, 90% of the people that you see out there helping us, representing the Red Cross, are volunteers. And those volunteers are also youth. So if we move on to the next slide, we can see what we've done here in this slide is we've prepared two different types of information. The triangle shows you how we have different programs that we help youth, young adults in the communities on how to prepare. We have preparedness education programs for little kids like Prepare with Pedro. We have the Pillowcase Project. We currently have, and this is happening now, our Home Fire campaign that's going on until May 7th. And we also have Missing Maps. We have the International Humanitarian Law Youth Action Campaign. So these are different opportunities that you can get now involved and learn from the services we provide around this. And it's not on there, but we also have the opportunity in high schools. You can start your Red Cross Club, and you'll get more information further on about those clubs. And then the interesting thing also about the slide is that we also have some circles there, right, under each of the categories. And this pretty much reflects that just as we provide services to the community and to youth and young adults, we also, most of our volunteer workforce are also youth or young adults. And we have a specific focus now. And that's why I'm so happy, we are so happy about this opportunity. Because we have two things that I want to focus on. Because we have shifted due to COVID, many of our, the way we provide our services have shifted to a virtual format. So this has increased tremendously the amount of actual positions that we need to fill with volunteers. And we pretty much think that once the pandemic, everyone gets their shot and it's pretty much gone, most of these roles will continue to happen because we've noticed that with these, we can actually better serve our community. And then, so that's one thing. And the other thing that I want to highlight before I go on to the actual descriptions of the opportunities that we have is that what we want to do with our workforce in our community is that we want to create and retain a workforce that reflects the community that we serve. And that means increasing diversity through our volunteers, through our hires, and through including within the organization when we promote our staff to higher positions. We have a mentorship program that just started for the established by the Latino Resource Group, focused on the Latin American and the Latinx staff members and volunteers that we have. So those are some of the good things that we're working on and focusing on. And then our shout out today is, and just like this next image that we have, this is just an example of one of our youths. He received an award, a national award. He was recognized nationally because of the service he provided. He's out in Texas, and he was recognized because we had a hurricane in which he was a key and fundamental liaison in our shelter that we opened, helping out our volunteers, helping out clients that were coming in to use and benefit from the Red Cross services. And he managed different schedules. He was an actual leader, helping the volunteers understand what the different processes that were going on at our shelter and how they could help. So there's very exciting opportunities for you, not only to put into practice skills that you've developed throughout your school years right now in high school and as you move on to college, but also developing new skills. So in the next slide, I'd like to share with you some of the opportunities that we currently have. And many of these opportunities, I'm from the Greater Carolinas regions, but right now with us going virtual with many of our positions, many of these can also be either local, serving local departments, and even national departments all across the country. So the first need that we have is in blood services. We have an opportunity here, actually various opportunities, but I just want to focus 2 of them. So one of them is being a blood ambassador. And the need for blood, as I explained before, is dire. Every 2 seconds, someone needs blood. Someone may have been in a car accident. Someone may be going into surgery. Someone, because of a specific health issue that's going on, needs blood. So a blood ambassador, his or her activity would be greeting and the people that come in to donate blood, helping them through the screening process, through the registration process, and walking them through to a canteen area that we have. So that's one of the positions that we have. And as you can see there, we have, you would need to dedicate basically in a month 6 hours, and we have different shifts within that month. Another interesting position within the blood services is transportation specialist. So not only is collecting the blood from our donors important, but also transporting the blood to our facilities, and then when hospitals request it, delivering that or shipping it as well. So these are very important positions. And one of the things that I do want to highlight as we keep moving forward to the next slides is that some of them do require that you have at least 18 years of age, and some of them you will need to have parental consent for this. In our next line of service that I want to highlight is disaster services. And one of the things, and I'm also pretty much, although I'm in fund development, managing events, I've kind of found myself helping out in disaster services because of my language skills and because of the certain connections that I have in the community. So one of the things that I want to highlight with all of them, and specifically this one, is that we do have a need here in the Greater Carolina regions and across the country for volunteers that speak Spanish, that are bilingual. And we have virtual opportunities as well as in-person opportunities. And as you can see in the pictures, we've adapted ourselves following COVID protocols. So one of the positions is disaster action team. And what we need here is that you are able to help us when there's a disaster. And the most common disaster is a home fire. I was just on an interview with Telemundo, and the interviewer was telling me, what do you know about the fire that happened this morning at 4 a.m., right? And so this happens every day. We need help reaching out to the families virtually, understanding what they've gone through, filling out some certain paperwork to see if they qualify for different types of help and aid that we provide, connecting them with community partners and how they can move them and help them move forward into recovery. So we're helping also our community to prepare before a disaster. Right now, we're in a home fire campaign where we are virtually reaching out to the community over the phone, telling them what steps they need to take to prevent home fires, how to create an escape plan. And we really need volunteers that speak Spanish so that we can reach out to the Latin community, the Latino community. The next slide, please. And within the volunteer services that we need, we also, when volunteers engage with us, we need someone to walk them through. Just like you're in school now, you most likely have a guidance counselor, right, that you touch base with on a certain weekly or monthly basis, whenever the need, and he or she guides you. We'd have the same position open right now, where we need someone to help our volunteers, walk them through the training process, understand with them, go through with them what skills they have, where we can better use their skills, and help them connect with the supervisor and walk with them along their path of volunteering. And this is important again to us because 90% of our workforce are volunteers, and we want to keep them engaged and happy with what they're doing. The next slide, thank you.
Mariana, this is great information. However, we are a little bit short in time and we have one more speaker. Do
Sure.
you mind just mentioning the next opportunities so we can gain a couple of minutes and we can give the space to Lester to speak?
Absolutely.
Thank you.
What we have basically are opportunities in disaster cycle services, blood services, and mainly focused on volunteers that are bilingual. And these opportunities are open. Currently, you can visit our website. We'll have a PDF that's going out to everyone after this, where you can sign up. And please remember, though, that there are certain requisites that have to be fulfilled, and the information is there. Thank you.
Debbie, you're muted.
I see that now. Hi, everyone. Thank you so much, Mariana, for all that valuable information. We will be sending out more information to students if you would like so as well. Now I am going to go ahead and pass it on to Mr. Lester Oliva from Medic so he can share about his passion for healthcare and the opportunities with that agency as well.
Thank you. Thank you, Debbie. I had a 20-minute speech, but we're going to cut it short. So this is not my first career. I'm a Cuban immigrant. I came to the United States at 5 years old from Cuba, and my family didn't know what they should encourage me to do growing up here in the States, because things are different here than it is in Cuba. So I went and I got when I went to college, I got a degree in marketing, in business. So unlike my fellow host panelists, this is my second career. I worked in business, I worked in finance. So I like to tell people I'm the guy who can save your life and balance your 401k. So for students like yourselves, I think of myself, and I think of my niece who lives with me, who's 22 and had these questions. What am I going to do when I graduate college? And one of the things I like to tell people is, you being a CMS student, there's a lot of opportunities for you to get free educations through the local community colleges in technical skills like becoming an EMT, emergency medical technician. You can get that certification while you're in high school. And that certification gives you an opportunity to work for a 911 system like Medic, or to get some internship experience throughout the class and learn about healthcare. So if you wanted to be a doctor, if you wanted to be a nurse, if you wanted to be a respiratory therapist, having this education as an EMT, it's going to give you a glimpse of what they do. You're also going to get a glimpse of what happens in healthcare when it comes to diseases. So where other people are going to college and they're studying about diabetes, they're studying about heart attacks, you can learn how to recognize these diseases, and you have that experience of learning and seeing these diseases firsthand, and seeing these people who work in these fields and seeing what they do. So when I started at Medic, I wanted to become a physician assistant. And so when I started working in healthcare, I realized that that wasn't a career for me. But if I didn't spend those 6 months going to the EMT program, if I didn't spend, I've spent about maybe $500 for my EMT class, I would have gone to school to become a physician assistant, and I would have spent $100,000 on a career that wasn't going to fulfill me. So you've heard, from CMPD, from Charlotte Fire, the folks at the FBI, finding your passion is really important. And I think if you're thinking about going into healthcare, or you're not sure what you want to do, there's a lot of programs through CMS where you can really dive into healthcare careers without going to college and doing it while you're in high school. And then you can make a more informed decision, because being 17 and 18 years old and trying to figure out what you're going to do for the rest of your life, it's not an easy thing to do. And as a 41-year-old who's still trying to figure out what he wants to do for the rest of his life, I can tell you it's a constant struggle. So please take advantage of those situations. You can reach out to me on Medic social media accounts on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. We don't Snapchat for right now. You can message us on LinkedIn. But I really want you to consider these options. either through public safety from our partners or the options that we have at CMS to help students like yourself find your passion and find what drives you. And like I said, I'm available for anybody, both in English and in Espanol. So that's my 5-minute spiel, so we can keep it on time.
Thank you so much, Lester. Thank you so much, Lester, and to all of our speakers, our representative from partner agencies. Thank you so much. We appreciate your time. We appreciate your valor and your dedication to our community. I am Dr. Rosanna Saladin. I am Director of Community Partnerships and Family Engagement. And I appreciate that you'll have shared these opportunities and words of encouragement to our students and to our students and young leaders on the call. I am a graduate from Clemson, so I have to mention one of the greatest college coaches that we have. In the words of Coach Dabo Sweeney, when somebody said, "Oh, you are the Clemson Tigers coach," he said, "No, that is what I do. Who I am a father. I am a Christian. I am a dad. I am a spouse." That's what you need to discover today. Who you are will not mean what you do. And what you do, in the words of Special Agent Baldner today, be the best at what you choose to be and to do. Okay? Thank you so much, everyone, for today. We will be sharing this recording with other students who were not able to join us. We appreciate the partnership and support and sponsorship of AT&T for the vision of providing the opportunity. And thank you, Latin American Chamber, for partnering with CMS, CTE, and Community Partnership and Family Engagement for this event. Have a great weekend, everyone.